Every few months, a new headline appears. China launches another military exercise around Taiwan. More warships, more fighter jets, more missiles. And every time it happens, people ask the same question. Is this the real thing? Or is China simply sending a message? Some military experts believe China could be preparing for an invasion before 2030. Others say that's exactly what Beijing wants you to think. So what's really happening? Let's start with the facts. China considers Taiwan to be part of its territory. Taiwan sees itself as self-governing, with its own government, military, and democratic elections. For decades, both sides have lived in an uneasy balance. But that balance has been changing. China now has the world's largest navy by the number of ships. It's rapidly expanding its air force. And every year, it conducts larger and more realistic military drills around Taiwan. Some of these exercises even simulate blockades and amphibious landings, the exact operations that would be needed during an invasion. That's why many analysts point to 2027. Not because China has announced an invasion, but because 2027 marks the 100th anniversary of the People's Liberation Army, and some US officials have publicly said President Xi Jinping wants the military to be capable of taking Taiwan by then. Notice the wording. Capable doesn't necessarily mean planning to invade. That's an important difference. Now let's look at the other side. Invading Taiwan wouldn't be like any modern war. Taiwan is separated from mainland China by nearly 130 kilometers of water. Crossing that strait would require one of the largest amphibious operations in history. China would have to transport hundreds of thousands of troops, protect supply lines, and likely face resistance from Taiwan's military. Then there's the United States. While Washington follows a policy of strategic ambiguity and hasn't promised automatic military intervention, it has long supported Taiwan's ability to defend itself. Japan and several regional allies also have major security interests in the region. An invasion could quickly grow into a much larger conflict. There's also the economic cost. Taiwan produces many of the world's most advanced semiconductors. A war could disrupt global technology, manufacturing, and financial markets almost overnight. Some economists believe the economic damage would be unlike anything the world has seen in decades. So here's the question. If the risks are so enormous, why does China keep increasing military pressure? One explanation is that Beijing is preparing for a future military option. Another is that these exercises are designed to deter Taiwan from declaring formal independence without ever firing a shot. In other words, the military buildup itself could be part of the strategy, not the prelude to an invasion. History also reminds us to be careful. Major powers often build military capabilities they hope they'll never have to use. Being prepared for war and choosing war are not the same thing. So, is China preparing to invade Taiwan before 2030? The honest answer is, no one outside China's leadership knows. What we do know is that China's military capabilities are growing. Tensions remain high, and governments around the world are planning for multiple possibilities. Not because conflict is inevitable, but because the consequences would be enormous. So, here's my question for you. Do you think China will attempt to take Taiwan before 2030? Comment UFCIS if you think military action is likely. Or comment no if you believe the buildup is mainly about deterrence and political pressure. Because one thing is certain, whatever happens in the Taiwan Strait over the next few years could shape the rest of the century.